Hey everyone, I'm Jenna,
I'm Clint, and welcome to the Enchanted Parks and Ports podcast.
where we chat Disney, Universal Cruise Lines, and beyond.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, Jenna, to the Enchanted Parks and Ports podcast.
Hello.
I am so incredibly excited. And the reason is, these are some of my favorite episodes, is we're going trip report, but this is a bit of a complex trip report because we're going to break it into two episodes because this is land and sea.
And it's just long. Like, there were just a lot of days, which means there's a lot of stories and a lot of insight. So instead of me rambling for 2 hours straight, we'll ramble for 1 hour straight 2 times.
Yeah, and you'll get a chance to experience all of the things that go in. And the reason I love trip reports is this is like functional Disney.
Yeah.
Right? This isn't theoretical Disney. This is, we were boots on the ground. How did it go? What worked? What didn't work? What were the surprises? Like all the stuff that is really what you learn from.
And honestly, it is one of those things where we say this all the time. We learn every time we go to a park, every time we go on a cruise ship, even the same cruise ship, even the same park, because there's something different about the dynamics at play or a decision we made or whatever it might be that we learn as travel advisors. So to be able to pass on some of those insights in a way that is not, like you said, theoretical, but okay, did this actually work? Feels important.
It's very important. So we're going to jump into that. We're really going to dig in just to kind of give listeners a concept of how these two episodes are going to work. We're going to kind of go front end of trip, kind of the parks aspect into Embarkation Day.
Yeah.
And then we'll take main part of cruise into debarkation and kind of what you did afterwards to kind of slow roll getting back to real life.
Yes. This is true. We'll do a almost like the planning of a land and sea, start of trip and end of trip. And then we did end with a night at Walt Disney World as well. So adding in kind of that post-trip component too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but before we do that, we're going to jump into some news. We've got a few things on the docket that we kind of need to talk about, and a big one that is projecting towards, though, the fall, Jenna, and maybe you can share with listeners, there's some things that are, you better start getting your plans put together now for this particular event because it's a huge draw. Tickets have been on sale for now roughly over about 10 days.
Yeah.
So, and that would be
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We're back into party season, my friends, starting in August, running through Halloween, of course. We have this specialty ticketed event at Magic Kingdom Park, where you can get all your Halloween fun, your Boo to You parade, your Halloween specific shows, your trick or treating, which is like hysterical sometimes seeing the hauls that people bring home from this event.
and people need to account for that, right? Because what you don't want to do is have to leave a giant amount of candy gift to your resort staff.
Right. I bet you actually they get for sure if you are trick-or-treating at like a mouse keeping staff's house, you're getting Mickey's Not So Scary candy. That's my guess. But yeah, that event is on sale, which impacts both if you're wanting to get tickets. Now's the time, do the thing, specifically those like really high demand dates close to Halloween, or like the kickoff of party season, maybe. And if you're going in during this time, August to October, now you have a better picture of when party dates are to start mapping out your potential park days too. Whether you're going to the party or not, it impacts the way Magic Kingdom and the parks function. So it gives people a chance to kind of start conceptualizing their trip. So that's going on for Halloween. I know it's been on your radar this year. Is it a thing that's going to happen? Are we not sure? Where are we at?
It has been on the radar, and actually we moved a trip that was intended to go to the West Coast and do Disneyland, Oogie Boogie, these things, because there's a holiday weekend in October for us.
Yeah.
And the dates don't line up. There are no party dates across that long weekend, and maybe they did it specifically because it is a holiday weekend.
So what is that holiday weekend in the US? Because it's Canadian Thanksgiving, the weekend you're talking about.
Yeah, and I think for us it's is it Columbus Day? No, I think that one is actually Veterans Day. I'm
Oh, and
I'm messing it up.
there's
Anyway,
some kind of long
but
weekend in October.
it's a long weekend. But the thing with that is, yeah, for some reason, just the party dates don't line up. And
Dang.
when we looked at it, originally I was like, yes, and then I took a deeper look and it was like, oh no. So we're going anyway. We're gonna go enjoy it. We're gonna
As you
get
should.
the Halloween theming, all the stuff, right? We're just
Yeah.
not gonna get the extra ticketed event. And at some point, future forward, yes, we're gonna have to do it.
So what I'm hearing is, okay, so Taylor and Courtney, if you're listening, this is for you, my friends. What I'm hearing is you now have saved money from going to this Halloween event and therefore could potentially justify Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party.
Potentially, that could be true.
I'm just saying.
You're putting it out there.
If we're strategizing our specialty ticketed dollars, we have another party situation coming up. So
And this is that moment where I hope my kids actually aren't listening
to the
to
podcast,
the podcast
and you go,
because
oh no.
that's the mouse sticking his hand in my pocket again. Um, all right, we have a second news announcement. This one's kind of a big one. We know that Disney is releasing a new Star Wars movie coming up on May 22nd with Mando and Grogu. I think this thing is going to be crazy sauce big at the theaters. But they're also giving us Mandalorian and Grogu version of Smuggler's Run released on that same day in the parks on both coasts.
Oh, on the same day. See, this is different for Disney. They often don't do like an ode to what's happening in theaters, but that's kind of a fun little perk for the Star Wars fans.
It is. It's a great perk for Star Wars fans. I love this because I mean, this is something that should have been baked into this ride the entire time. Is kind of what they've done similarly with Guardians of the Galaxy. The rewritability of some of these things, kind of Star Tours in similar vein. I know that building the kind of sets and everything, digital sets, all of that kind of stuff does take it's expensive, and B, it's a lot of time. So understand maybe why they haven't gone this way a lot, but I do think future forward, this will probably be something that gets built out on much more a regular cycle in reference to kind of what park goers can expect to get from Smuggler's Run in a different way, because this just doubled your rewritability on that ride for anybody who loves Star Wars. And really any kid who's been a Disney fan for Disney Plus, those kinds of things, for probably about the last 5 years. This is going to be big with the kids.
Oh, for sure. And do I have a story for you about Smuggler's Run, Rise of the Resistance, Galaxy's Edge? We went to that side of the park this time, and I have a story.
Which is amazing, because typically you either avoid it or just kind of skirt through it to go someplace else.
Yes, this is true.
I'm excited to kind of hear about that part of the adventure. But yeah, let's definitely jump into the main part of this episode. And that is the design of a Disney Parks vacation combined with a Disney Cruise Line vacation. I mean, it could be some other cruise line carrier, but in this particular case, it was a DCL sailing.
Yeah.
And so just kind of giving our listeners a bit of the front work. What did it look like to plan this vacation different than a parks only trip or a cruise only trip?
Right. Well, I guess let's start with where we started, which was it started as a cruise only trip in October, cruise only trip. We were going to do one of the Halloween on the High Sea sailings, found out we were pregnant, couldn't do that. So we were like, where do we move this? And I was like kind of disappointed about missing the cruise, obviously excited about Quinn's existence, but disappointed about missing the cruise. And so Lucas had suggested, well, what if we went over your birthday? And obviously that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So then the goal became, okay, I want to find a sailing where I'm at one of the Disney Island destinations on my birthday. And there's only 2 of those. So like you limit.
Yeah, that could be a little tricky.
Yeah, you limit your itineraries with that one, right? We found this sailing on the Fantasy that, checked the boxes. My birthday's May 8th. My kiddo's birthday is just days before.
Yes.
So we started with this cruise, and then all of a sudden it was like, well, if we went a little bit early, we could do Magic Kingdom on her birthday. And then you look at the price of single day tickets and you're like, well, with the Canada resident tickets, we might as well do 4 park days because it's almost.
Yeah, suddenly the Disney math dominoes start falling, right? It's like, well, but, and maybe, and suddenly the trip turns into multiple park days backed up to a cruise.
Yeah, it turns into 4 park days, 9 nights, 10 days adventure, right? Which honestly is a trip I will remember forever. And I do think Abs is at an age where she'll start to remember some of our travel too. So I'm curious if something from this trip will stick with her, but was so magical. So we started with cruise. In theory, you could do it either way, but cruises are a little less flexible than the parks.
Yep.
Right?
And I do think that that's a common planning direction, right? We've nailed down our cruise and we just happen to be going out of Port Canaveral, which is 45 minutes from Orlando, even via Uber, that kind of stuff. So then it's like, we've got to, typically if you're flying in, as we would advise, you're flying in a day early.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm there a day early. What can I do?
Exactly.
If I'm going to be there a day early, then 4 days early seems to make sense quickly thereafter. And suddenly it's like, yep, my vacation is expanding as long as time can allow.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, too, our cruise left on a Wednesday. So it's awfully tempting to just fly in on the Saturday.
Yes.
And make some time for the park. So anyway, that's what we ended up doing. But that often is the direction of find your cruise because those just have less options. Specifically, you could sail out of Fort Lauderdale. You could take the Bright Line, but we have car seats and shenanigans that would make that tricky. So for us, we're really looking at a Port Canaveral sailing. So it just really limits your options. So start there and then build your parks trip around it, right? So started there and then looked at our resort reservation. Where did we want to stay? What did we want to kind of do with these 4 days and built it out from there.
Yeah. And so from that standpoint, I know sometimes when people, especially when they're treating it as maybe a once in a lifetime kind of trip and they're wanting to do a DCL or another sailing, the Bahamas, maybe Caribbean, that kind of stuff. And then they're throwing kind of Disney in the mix. One of the things I do regularly talk with folks I'm supporting with is great. Then let's make sure to put the parks adventures on the front end of your trip, right? Because, and you're giving me a big, yes, this is necessary. So explain to our listeners why that location and that order matters.
Well, it matters because you get tired, my friends. 4 park day or however many, even 1 park day, it's just an intensive thing to do. The cruise is much slower paced, but still in the Disney magic, right? And so for me and for my family, we would rather have the chaos and magic of a parks visit and then kind of unwind, reset, but still get that magic. We're not totally leaving it. It's almost easing our way out of the magic in some way, although I find the cruise magical in its own right. But we would rather do that after to kind of, have our recharge from the trip portion, because Disney Cruise Line feels more like vacation to me. Walt Disney World feels like trip, adventure. We're doing a thing. And then even though we take midday breaks and all of these things, but the cruise is just so slower paced. So it's kind of easing into that relaxation portion.
Yeah, I think for me, it's that space of I want to take the tranquility, the relaxation, those kinds of things back into my daily life.
Yeah.
Right? Where, man, if you would lose that very rapidly if you put the parks on the back end of your cruise.
Oh,
because
totally.
now we're moving into that space where 10 miles a day, you're rope dropping, you're park closing, you're trying to get the most out of your Disney dollar.
Yeah.
And by doing that, man, now I'm going back to work and I'm kind of, Disney exhausted.
Yes. And
in a good way.
And not just us going back to work, but also your kids have a cumulative sleep deprivation thing happening. As much as you try for them not to, they're staying up late, they're getting up early, they're napping at weird hours, they're eating mac and cheese for dinner every single night of their lives, whatever it is. Like, it's easier to accommodate kind of needing to slow down on the cruise end than them being tired and then being like, let's ramp it up for the parks. So also just to avoid meltdowns, if you have young ones, that would be the order for me too.
Yeah, I think it's the only way I would suggest people do kind of a parks and cruise situation, because I think the other way just feels, I mean, it just feels so much different, and you're not feeling like you just did vacation, right?
Oh, totally.
So, all right. So thinking about the way you lined this up, some of the pre-planning, knowing that it was cruise into parks, where did you choose to stay on the front end? What did you kind of strategize with your park days, knowing now that different landscape for you, right? Still multi-generational trip.
Yeah.
But we now have Quinny in the mix.
We have a little baber who did do a Magic Kingdom day in February. So we got a little one park day trial with her. Man, she is a happy baby. She's a trooper. She was like the easiest, probably out of all of us, easygoing on this trip. So that was amazing. But our strategy was we wanted to stay at Port Orleans French Quarter because no internal bus loop when we're trying to navigate a double stroller and mobility gear, right? Which can just like delay busing sometimes even more. So we would rather stay somewhere where busing's a little bit more straightforward, a smaller resort to get around, and an epic splash pad. And if you're looking at the moderate tier, that leaves Port Orleans French Quarter.
Yeah, because the other resorts are much larger in scale. May have tick all the other boxes.
Yeah.
But French Quarter, from the size standpoint, instantly pops to the top.
From the size standpoint, the splash pad standpoint too, like Riverside and Coronado Springs, no splash pads, right? For Riverside, you can access French Quarters as sister resorts, but we wanted one where it's like we walk out our door and here we are enjoying said splash pad, right? And that was a huge one for us because Abs loved the splash pad. Quinn loved kind of being held floating around in the pool more. So if you're really baby, maybe that matters less. It's actually like the 1 to 5, I would say, where the splash pad becomes essential for them to still run and play, but feel like they're unwinding, and you to also be able to sit inside enclosed area and watch them run and play and feel like you're unwinding. So that was huge. And then thinking too, just about how we ordered the parks, we were up against a couple of special days on this trip. So we had May the 4th.
Yeah.
Which is a big Star Wars day. We weren't going to Disney's Hollywood Studios that day. And we had Cinco de Mayo, which can be a big Epcot day. And we had a weekend. So there also was the wrap up of Cheer and Dance. I will say, a lot of times people are expecting, if it's like not a school holiday, they're expecting quieter parks. This was the busiest I have ever experienced the parks, like bar none.
Wow.
Period. Bar none. We still had a great time. We still used all the tricks. We still navigated. We prioritized all the things. It was great. It was not quiet in any way, shape, or form, right? So it's also just important for people to keep in mind, like, you are never guaranteed quiet. Like, Disney doesn't even know exactly what's going to happen with park days, right? So roll with it and have a strategy, even if you think you're going at a quieter time of year. So that was a bit of a surprising twist for us. I was expecting it. Like, I thought, May the 4th would impact Disney's Hollywood Studios, but I didn't factor in, well, those people are not just coming for a day, they're staying for the week, right? Like, it's just actually a busier week than I was anticipating.
And Disney's been throwing out monster promotions, right? Yeah. I mean, they've really been working hard to make sure people are in the parks.
Well, that was the other thing I thought of was Cool Kids Summer hasn't kicked off. So in my brain, I also thought, we're probably hitting, like, people are probably waiting.
Yeah.
No. She was busy, which was fine. We navigated accordingly, but yeah, she was busy. So we kind of chose park days around that. We knew Magic Kingdom had to be on Ab's birthday, right? We knew there was less we wanted to do at Epcot, and the way our parks fell, we had to do one park day on an arrival day.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, there's Epcot. And then we have 2 days left. Well, one of them was May 4th, and we weren't going to Hollywood Studios. So that was how the order kind of worked itself out there.
Excellent. And so as we think about parks, we're not going to go a day by day, blow by blow, right? But as you think about the days and times you spent in the parks, what was the new, what was the different, like give us some highlights of some things that you either planned in on purpose or things that you're like, wow, this is unexpected magic.
Yeah.
But what were the things, because again, this trip for you planning, we've got a trip coming in June, we got a trip coming in July, and there are still, I'm looking at the menu of what's available in the Disney universe, and I'm like, man, there's a chunk of new, there's going to be some unexpected, there's going to be some things we haven't ever done before, and I think, irregardless of how often you go, which we do a lot, or, what time of year you go, there's always the new, different, and surprises.
Yes. Yeah. And I would say a couple of things about the parks surprised me. First of all, Epcot. We got caught in a downpour, like a true Florida start of summer, barely can see through the rain type of downpour. And she wasn't brief. It was hours.
Okay.
Like normally it is brief, right? Normally you can count on that 2 to 3 p.m. real kind of downpour. Maybe we're recovering by like 4:35. It just kind of kept going. So we were wet. And one thing that I didn't think of was I packed my rain gear, of course, but not in our arrival day park bag. Like I thought I was being really clever, having one backpack being our park bag because we knew we were going on arrival day. But I didn't think rain gear could be needed on your first day. So that was a bit of a mom just, oh, right. This is now in the big suitcase that's checked with Bell Services or like, okay, right, got it. So that was one of those moments. So, Disney did do well on the ponchos for us because at some point you just got to be like, this child is going to be soaking wet in 12 seconds. So we got that. We had an umbrella for the babe and she just slept and was loving the sound of the rain. So high reviews from Quinn on the rain. And then Epcot was interesting. Like it was a good lesson for me as a parent of like, what your kid will love, but you also don't know what they'll love, if that makes sense. It's I knew Frozen Ever After was going to be a hit.
Yeah, sure. Especially with the new animatronics, right?
She's just, I knew that was going to be a hit. I knew we had to bake it in because that would be great. What I didn't expect is Abby's intense passion for Soarin'.
Wow, that's a surprise.
Right? Loved it to the point that was the one she was asking to go again on. So sometimes it's one of those interesting, she for sure loved the Elsa ride, 0 notes, no complaints, right? But sometimes your kids are struck by something in the parks you're not expecting. And it can be extra special to allow space for that or to try the new thing that you're not 100% sure. Abby's a bit of a cautious with the ride situation right now. I thought Soarin' might be at the edge, right? And she did ask us as she's getting strapped in. It was an interesting question. How would you answer this? She said, how high does this go? Because your answer.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because that's a little bit of a loaded question because visually it goes pretty high.
Right.
But from a kind of kinetics in the ride, it doesn't go really all that high. You're just kind of out over a little bit of a drop. So, yeah, I would probably describe it as, you're floating like Peter Pan above the ground kind of thing. I'd have probably gone to that place.
Yeah, because it's do I say a couple feet or do I say over top of mountains?
Yeah.
How do I name that? And this was something people are going to have to comment to let me know if I've just missed this on recent park trips or what. But the thing that comes down to hide people's feet now, when did that show up?
Oh, that's been there.
Has that been there forever?
Yeah, that's been there a long time.
Interesting. So anyway, I was like, is that new? Because why am I not seeing people's feet right now? But maybe I just haven't clocked that in a couple of trips or something. But yeah, she loved it. She absolutely loved it. I was nervous when she asked that, like as she's getting buckled, how high does it go? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
well, we're about
It's
to
a little
find
late.
out.
We're getting ready to find out.
Yeah. But she held both of our hands. Baby was left with grandma and grandpa. We're holding hands, and she feels like she is. We talked about that guy that felt like he was flying on a banshee. Abby felt like she was flying through the world, right? And it was just incredible watching her little face, like, whoa, look at that. That whale just splashed us. Like, just the immersion, which also highlights for me, like, remember that Disney is more than the IP, right? I think a lot of people get stuck in like, I'm going for this one princess experience. And don't get me wrong, those are fabulous. And it's sometimes like surprising other things that Disney does that really sticks with kids. So that was fabulous. Really, really loved that element. And there were some other rides that I was surprised were big hits, like Tiana's Bayou Adventure. That was a big kind of, how's this going to go?
Yeah, because it has a kind of split personality, right? For 95% of the ride, it's cool, calm, collected, like full on Disney IP. And then for 5% of the ride, it could be sheer terror.
5% is 50-foot drop. You know, so like I'm like, this could go amazing or it could be a disaster, but we're gonna try it. Loved it. Like I think part of it is also like Lucas and I just have a party on that ride when we are together. We are singing the songs, Abby is dancing, we are front row, like she's living her dreams, right? Drop didn't scare her at all.
Which is amazing to me because of some things that happened later in your trip that I am aware of.
Yes.
That is a significant rush.
Right.
From a thrill standpoint.
Your stomach is through your head. Like that just is what that drop is. But even in the ride photo, you saw a picture of her smiling ear to ear. Like that girl was loving it.
Correct.
So amazing, right? Now, let's talk about times where also your kid surprises you the other way and they really don't like something. Like, I was so convinced if we got her on Snow White, girl would love it.
Especially with the way, I mean, it starts out a little on the quick side and maybe that works against you, but there's so much that just is kind of excitement and then relax and excitement and relax on that ride.
Yeah.
But not yet.
No, she was not a fan, which is okay. And what she said, or what I said, or someone said this, and we were talking about it was, no, I think she said this, was, now I know I like the Tiana ride and not the Snow White ride. And I said, exactly. You had to try them to know, because if you thought I'm not going to like either of them, we would have missed her favorite moment at the parks, which was the Tiana ride.
Wow. Favorite moment in total?
Oh, I think it was for sure her favorite moment, because that's what she kept talking about. Was the Tiana ride or Cinderella's Royal Table, which we'll get to dining in a second.
Oh,
but I have one more story to tell you about rides.
Okay.
So we know Jenna doesn't frequent Galaxy's Edge. Like,
it's not on the regular. It's something that we have a lot of knowledge about, but it is not a destination of choice or hasn't been.
No.
Up until recently.
And this is straight up like also a theoretical knowledge. Like, have I ever been on Smuggler's Run? Don't hate me, but the answer is no. Like, I just haven't done some of these things at the parks, right? Like, or I just haven't done them a lot that I'm really familiar with this area that I can walk you through. Like, I can tell you the great snacks that are there. I can tell you what attractions are there.
You can share where to get the best coffee.
Absolutely. That's where I thrive in this world. You know what I mean? But Abby she watched a ride through video of Smuggler's Run and thought, yeah, flying a spaceship sounds fun. Great. Let's try it. So it's like 8:58. And
you've only got a few minutes to make this decision happen.
And like the line to get into Galaxy's Edge, she's long. Like, people are about to flood into this ride. So we're kind of hustling, like not running because Disney, but we're hustling. And we haven't had coffee yet because of how this has played out. And Mom's a little oblivious. So we get into line, 25-minute wait. And I thought, like, that's not terrible because we've already done Mickey and Minnie's. Clint sees where this is going.
Well, what's interesting is I could see where this happened the way it did. Because the ride you frequented was not the ride you thought you were frequenting, right? So with this, you're just going with the flow of people. It's like 9:59, we're rolling, everybody's headed this way, we're getting into line. Like your focus narrows, you're going with the crowd, you're in this moment where, yep, this just makes sense, right up to the point that it doesn't. So at what point were you like, oh, crud, we are in the wrong ride?
So Clint knows exactly where this is going because I have a moment where they measure her and I go, 40 inches? Interesting. Like, I thought it was 38. Like, have I been telling people that wrong? Like, oh, I should probably check that. Whatever. Continues through, walks through. Starting to get a little suspicious. And then I see BB-8 and I'm like, wait a sec.
Yeah, you get to the Ray room where you see BB-8 and you're like, we're not where we're supposed to be.
And then I have this thought again because I haven't actually done Smuggler's Run myself. I go, is BB-8 in both things? Like, why have I not? And then I see Ray and I'm like, oh no, that's not what's happening.
Yeah, because we did this ride together on the West Coast, and we had a great time, and yeah, I could see. So what was your feeling in that moment that when you realized?
Yeah.
And if I'm remembering right, then this was also potentially Lucas's
Lucas doesn't know
ride on this ride.
Lucas doesn't know there's a problem. Lucas is just like, do. And I say to Lucas, I'm like, so I've made a mistake. And he's like, what? And I'm like, we are in the line for Rise of the Resistance. It's not a convenient ride to try to bail out of, you know, like we're there. We've also missed early entry on Smuggler's Run. Like we're kind of in it. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're committed at that point. Like the experience has started.
Yes, it started. And also like, I always am conscious at the parks, like this is a lot of people's one time doing this.
Yep.
I don't want to disrupt that if I can help it. Right. So anyway, so I'm tell Lucas, like, this is for sure a thrill ride. There's some spooky bits. Not sure how this is going to go. And he's like, well, we're in it now. So
it's kind of and I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't been on there, but it's kind of a almost somber, kind of intense kind of feeling. Like the vibe is very like in your face, sinister kind of situation.
Oh, totally. Which is like not where Abs thrives.
Yeah.
So she's already at this point like, Dad, can you hold me? And he's like, yeah, sure. And she wants Mom when she's sad, but when she's scared, she's like, Dad's more capable. What to tell you, Mom, but like, I'm going to need Dad here. So Dad's holding her. We go through, they assign our colors, and they don't ask if we're okay to be broken up. They just break us up. So they have me and Abs in the one spot and Lucas in the other, because then Abs was like, hold on, I want Mom if we're breaking up.
Yeah.
And he was just going to be in the row behind us, right? But that's just how it worked out. Well, then the First Order is there, and Abby says out loud, "Are these the bad guys?" Because she's getting the sense.
Yeah.
And obviously they respond.
Sure they do.
And they say, "No, you're the bad guys." And Abby gets so offended. And she looks at them and looks at me and she goes, I am not a bad guy, right? And she like looks at Mom and she's like, hold on, what universe are we in? And so then they say, no, I think you're on our team, maybe. Maybe you are First Order. And she says, no, what am I, Mom? And I said, Resistance. And she's like, I'm Resistance.
That's awesome. So she's taking the opportunity to get into character, even though it's completely purpose.
She thinks she's accidentally like fighting for her integrity here, but whatever. So anyway, we get through it. We get through the ride. We get off, and she says, when we come back to Walt Disney World, and I said, yeah. And she said, anytime in the future. And I said, yeah. And she said, I will never go to Space World. And I was like, she's like, I don't even want any part of Galaxy's Edge.
So that you don't even think, so you think that ruined it even for Smuggler's Run? Like that came off the menu?
I think we need a cooling off period because she wouldn't even let us go. We went to Ronto Roasters after, and she was like, nope, I need out now. And so it's a quick pivot, I will say, for people who try this, and maybe your kid has the same experience. Quick pivot to Toy Story Land, and the vibes get really different. Fast.
Really different, really quick.
And then she had the time of her life, right? Mom made a bit of a miscalculation on the fear factor here and accidentally took abs on Rise of the Resistance. So, that happened.
I wanted, like, if I could experience any part of your trip inside your head in that moment, I would have wanted to, like, what is the Jenna self-talk that is going on in this moment where it's like, oh, crud.
Yeah.
This is about to happen. There's nothing I can do to change it, and we're going to see where this goes.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, what did Lucas think? I know we got Abby's perspective, but as now an adult and an adult male, like, where was he at?
Oh, he loved it. Lucas got off the ride and he's like, you might not want to go on that again. I do. That was great. Like, so Lucas got a win out of this because it probably wouldn't have been on the menu had, Mom been thinking. Even like park mats, like I've looked at park mats. Why did I get in line there? It was just morning chaos,
Yeah, it was. It was going with the flow.
Yeah, it was just like, this is the place. And also because 25 minutes that close to park opening didn't seem right for Rise of the Resistance, right? That seemed right for Smuggler's Run.
Well, and the fact that it was operating, because we know regularly Rise of the Resistance is sleepy in the morning.
Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, I can see how it happened.
Right.
And it's crazy the way, like, that is awesome. And I hope in some future way there's a way to talk Abby into a Rise of the Resistance Part 2, because this ride is just so epically good. It is the single ride where you can say Disney has pulled out all the tricks that they have and put it in one experience.
Oh, totally. And that's what Lucas was like. It kept changing and and what was this? And then I was also bracing for, certain things that happen on the ride. No spoilers alert, but I was like, something's about to happen just so Abs would know. And Lucas was like, how? And I'm like, it just is going to. So.
Yep. It's so good.
Yeah, so it's a fabulous ride, but that was a couple of the ride surprises. The other thing that I will say is it's so interesting. Like, you never take the same kid to Disney twice.
I love the way you just said that, because you're right. Because the developmental path that the kid is on changes the experience for you as the parent.
Yeah. And what they expect and what they take out of it and what they are drawn to. Like in February, Abs could not be bothered with rides as much as meeting princesses. Right? Yeah. This time, she was rides focused. She had like a checklist to get through, right? And so it's just interesting that even a couple months apart, like, you're bringing a different kid.
Well, but in that, I know when we talked about the setup for this trip in previous episodes, your slant on birthday, Magic Kingdom, all of these kinds of things was gonna be, man, we are going to be doing nothing but characters.
Exactly. I was nervous to buy MultiPass. I'm so glad I bought it. Yeah.
Wow. Yep.
Curveball. Totally. The characters she did love were especially at Animal Kingdom, which were different character meets than she's done, right? So Nick and Judy.
Yeah.
Mickey and Minnie. Some of those character meets that you meet characters together too were especially fun for her. And I will say, Nick and Judy, our Zootopia friends get a line, right?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Absolutely.
This is one of those attractions that is rope drop worthy if they're opening at Park Open. So some days they open at Park Open and some days they open an hour later, which makes it a bit more complicated. But if they're opening at Park Open, get in line during early entry. We missed early entry just because we had some diaper chaos. You know how it goes. We missed getting in line at early entry for Nick and Judy by about, I think, 15 minutes, and we waited over an hour.
Wow.
Getting in line.
I could see it.
Like, and honestly, that was probably still good time value compared to the rest of the day. Like the line just like, and they will tell you at the start, like, this line is 90 minutes or 2 hours long, right? So just
for a character, that's crazy. I mean, you're talking Tron length or Cosmic Rewind length ride line, than our character line in this case. Wow. So
this is one of those, like, you got to strategize if Nick and Judy are a must for you.
Yep.
Because you will kind of you will hit a line if you don't get there in advance of them opening, right?
No, so, great tip for that. That is a priority. Like,
absolutely.
And that's where when we talk about Disney, you're not going to do it all.
No.
But you better know what your priorities are and be ready to knock those things out first and foremost. So, again, if it's on the menu, great point.
Yes. And we also, so we don't frequent Animal Kingdom these days with abs just because Magic Kingdom gives us so much value. We'd rather extra Magic Kingdom days. But I will say, Lucas has not done Avatar Flight of Passage. Loved it.
Oh, wow.
Loved it. So we had grandparents again stay with girls, so we got to do it together, which was really fun. I've done it, but it was fun for Lucas to have this experience, right? So that was amazing because he only started going to Disney parks with me a couple of years ago, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I went in university pre-Lucas. But then we hit like COVID and pregnancy and baby. And like there was this period of time where we didn't Disney parks. And then we started by Disney cruise as a family. And then we Disney parked. So like and because we haven't prioritized Animal Kingdom with Abby, he just hasn't hit certain things yet.
But again, he's been there multiple times, even in that shorter time frame, right? And here's again what I love about the prospect of Disney not being a once-in-a-lifetime thing is the fact that you can go year after year with ease, and you're doing something new every time you do it.
Yes. And here's one thing, and I will speak dining for our parks portion. Here's one thing that I had to convince him, because yes, you can do new things, but you also can do things you love. And we know Lucas loves Ohana.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is something you and I kind of went around with before your trip started, of the one dining that Lucas had to have, and me being it's not that I don't like Ohana, but there's a lot of really great stuff on property, and I'm like, that's the must-do?
And we're going to Animal Kingdom, which has amazing dining. Like, that is where I think a lot of parks dining shines, is Animal Kingdom dining. So anyway, convinced this guy to not go to Ohana. My selling point was, finally, when Ohana is literally sending out notices to people saying, there is so much construction, it will obstruct your view. Which is just a reality right now at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort. There's scaffolding. It doesn't completely obstruct your view as of the airing of this episode, but you can see construction from the window. And so my point was, would we not rather save it and go back during a time when there's not construction?
So did you actually pull off the Tusker House pivot?
So we didn't Tusker House, because I asked, what do you like about Ohana? And we pivoted to Yak and Yeti. A good pivot, I would say.
A brilliant pivot.
Because I'm saying, okay, you like the kind of like not just traditional American food vibe.
Yeah.
You like an actual sit down meal and big portions. I'm like, I can do that for sure. So we caught a 6:45 reservation for Yak and Yeti, which again is my favorite play at this park, is last of the night. And yeah, and we ate at Yak and Yeti. It was absolutely fabulous. He loved it. Still likes Ohana better, which he likes what he likes, but loved Yak and Yeti.
I give him props for the loyalty. I'm still confused by it, but I give him props for the loyalty.
Deep commitment. He's a loyal guy, which I love. So anyway, so we'll be going back to Ohana in the future, but we did do Yak and Yeti. It was wonderful. My one feedback for Yak and Yeti is put curry on the kids menu. Abby was just like, I hyped up the curry because I thought for sure there would be curry on the kids menu. Alas, no curry on the kids menu.
Yeah, I think there are those spaces. You think about a Skipper's Canteen, you think about Yak and Yeti, you think about, some of these spots that are very flavor forward in their menus. And what you do find, though, is on the kids menu, they are not at all flavor forward. They're pretty basic. I think I don't know, maybe fearing there's something kids can't eat. Right.
And I get it for kids who that's not part of their usual repertoire, but for some kids that is part of their typical go-to. So I definitely hyped up curry a little too much for Abs.
Did you end up sharing?
I ended up giving her a little bit of mine because she was like, excuse me, there was a plan here. She also did have mini corn dogs, which she was happy with, but she did get some of the good curry because I was hyping up the best curry. That's why we have to.
Sure.
The pool is the best curry. So that was super fun. It was great to walk through a quiet animal kingdom on our way out. That was amazing. And yeah, the perks were just fabulous. Another thing that Lucas really appreciated, which is kind of unique to this resort, was post bedtime. I was out, right? Like I'm exhausted. But Lucas went a couple times to Scat Cats Club. Is like not to be confused with Scat Cats Cafe, which is where we get said iconic coffee and donuts. Or did I just say donuts? That's probably a cardinal sin for Disney. Beignets, my friends.
Yeah.
But Scat Cats Club is like a jazz club where they have cocktails and live jazz performances. And Lucas, jazz is like the heart of his music. That's really what he loves. And he was blown away by the performers. He said they were absolutely incredible. And so he snuck out regularly after bedtime to go and listen to some jazz music and kind of have a moment to soak that in.
Now, I know in the past he's had opportunity to perform with the cast members and performers. Did he do that on this trip?
No, it's very much like a band setup situation. So he observed and lived his best life watching, which was wonderful. And I do think it kind of tipped the scales for him with Port Orleans French Quarter. The dude's a bougie guy. Like he's like, why are we not staying deluxe? And I'm like, Lucas.
Which maybe then will explain some things that happen in our next episode, just as a teaser toward our listeners.
Yes. But this one we stayed at this lovely moderate resort, and I do think this tipped the scales for him to potentially go back to this resort because he loved the jazz music. So this is just an ode to anyone who wants to sneak out one parent after bedtime. This is a pro at this resort.
So you talked Yak and Yeti.
Yeah.
But I know there was another dining event that happened as part of your trip that we've got to report on this because a young lady on her birthday at Magic Kingdom, like there's just some have to.
She got her Cinderella's royal table moment, and oh my gosh, like I cried sitting at the table. She's just living this incredibly magical life, like her peeking out the window at Magic Kingdom, seeing these princesses around her, them like spending time with her, and some of the princesses that she's never met before. Like she's never met Merida. So how cool was it that Merida was there? The fact that they give her wishing wand. So like, which is, I call it, because they used to give these same ones on the Disney Wish, and I've called it the wishing weapon, because like those are plastic wands that are
yes.
So, proceed with caution with the wishing wand. They also give out swords if you want that instead. So we got those for Pirate Night.
Yep.
So it was just such a magical experience, and the food was great. Like I hear
Yeah, the
people,
food's good. I mean, nothing
yeah,
to complain about. I think sometimes people, I mean, you are paying a premium.
yes,
You're paying a premium for the experience,
yes,
not necessarily. The food is solid. The food
yeah,
is really good. I think sometimes when people are looking at the price tag, they're expecting Victoria and Albert's kind of
right,
style food.
yeah.
Is it that? No. Is it above average Disney park fare? Yeah, it is.
It's the best. I would say it's the best character dining food that I've had. Even over Topolino's Terrace or Storybook Dining at Artist Point. Maybe that one. That one's pretty good. Storybook
That was
Dining
pretty good.
food is pretty good. But I was impressed with the food, but really impressed with just the magic of she kept saying, I'm going up the royal stairs. And I'm like, these do give royal stairs vibes. I didn't put that together, but yes. And she's in her new princess dress. She's just living like 4-year-old dreams, and I could feel that and could not contain myself from sobbing at a dining room table. So yeah.
Did you do Bippity Boppity before this, or she just had her own dress? You guys had pre-prepped that, because I think you can go both ways. Because
Yeah.
one of the things in supporting families that I've noticed with Cinderella's Royal Table is young ladies who come in themselves in kind of pseudo in character.
Yeah.
They get more attention.
Oh, totally. And we went back and forth a million times of Bippity Boppity on the cruise or in the park. And I think if we had more than one Magic Kingdom day, we would have put it in the parks. But we just had like things we wanted to do at Magic Kingdom that weren't kind of this for half the day, which it really does take a big chunk of your day if you're doing both Bippity Boppity Boutique and Cinderella's Royal Table. So instead, we went and Grammy wanted to buy her a dress for her birthday. So we went to Sir Mickey's. We got the pixie dust. And then that was the dress that she brought for Bippity Boppity Boutique on the cruise. So it was a bit of a, not yet are we doing Bippity Boppity Boutique, but we did get there. Spoiler alert, on the cruise.
But again, full character moment for her.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
in her dress. She's got her wand.
Yeah.
She's getting adored by the princesses. I mean, there is no more magical experience than that.
Yeah.
And it is one that, yep, you're paying a premium.
Yeah.
And it's a premium experience.
It is a premium experience, like 100%. But also, like, this is her love language. She loves an expensive Princess Disney moment, apparently. So I told Clint I have good and bad news. Abby loved this dining experience because it's both good and bad news because we're going to be back. Like, it's just going to happen. Especially because Quinny, one day we'll be able to take this in too, right? So when you have two daughters spread apart, I feel like that adds to it. My one tip for people that I didn't think about with Cinderella's Royal Table is you initially wait downstairs where Cinderella meets. And they call your family name and they say, we'd like to invite you up to the castle or something like that. So if for whatever reason your last name is different than your kid's last name and your spouse shares the same last name as your kids, get your spouse to make that reservation. Yeah. That way they say your kid's last name. Because I had a
great point.
Because she doesn't know Mitchell family. That's not me. That's not us. Right. So I would have loved for her to have had that moment of, that's my family. That's my name, right? So anyway, that was a learning for me of, of course they said Mitchell family because I made the reservation, but.
I wouldn't have thought of that. That is a fantastic tip.
Or for you, if you're ever doing this with grandbabies.
Yeah.
And they have a different last name. Just think about that because it does create a bit of a magical moment for people to hear your name called in the castle and you get to go up the stairs, right? So just a quick tip on that one.
For sure. So any other planning tips, park tips, any of those things before we kind of slide over to now we're going to go get on a boat?
Yeah. So my one other tip that really was a big one in this trip is you have to pack strategically. Because you have a lot of luggage if you're doing this kind of scenario and you don't want to be pulling through everyone's suitcases every day. Because at the end of this, we still have a whole vacation We still have a cruise, right? So the way we packed was by day instead of by person, right? So there was one suitcase we had not even opened yet. This was our cruise suitcase for these days. There was other suitcases that we had opened, right? We had our cruise suitcase that was unopened. We had a carry-on that was our post-cruise suitcase that was unopened, and they just came along for the ride with us. Then you put all your dirty laundry in your Walt Disney World suitcase, dip it up, bring it on the boat, bring it off the boat. That is what it is, right? But that would be my one other tip, because at the end of this Magic Kingdom day, we had to prep to get on a boat. So you got to put your
which can be a quick turnaround.
Yeah, it's got to be a quick turnaround. You got to make sure it's not like painful for you to make it like a whole extra travel day. You want it to be as easy on yourself as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And I wouldn't have thought about that, but I also think about the ease of now, I'm on the boat, I'm in my stateroom, and it's like these suitcases, I'm just shoving them under a bed.
Exactly.
Right? Like I don't even have to think about that. And then we can worry about unpacking what we need to.
Yes, exactly. Because otherwise it's just chaos. Because staterooms also are tighter than your Walt Disney World room. So you're condensing at that point, right?
Yeah.
And one other tip actually about Walt Disney World rooms, cribs and bed bumpers are available at your Disney resort. I have in the last, 3 months? I have requested these at 4 different Disney resorts. Each time I have called in this request as a travel agent, but for my own trip. So either way. And not once are they available when you arrive. Every time you have to request them at check-in. So I now have enough of a sample size that I can confidently say, even if you call it in, don't expect a crib to be in your room when you get there. At check-in, name that request.
Oh, that's a great tip, because again, it's one of those things that I know they borrow from other resorts. Like they will work hard to meet your need.
They will.
But I would have thought the call-in request would be sufficient.
It definitely, at least in my experience, 0 out of 4 times in the last couple months traveling with Quinny Bear has a crib shown up. 4 out of 4 times it's shown up when I've requested at check-in. But you do need to request when you arrive. And definitely don't leave it to the end of your park day, because then, there's only so many cribs to go around. Anyone who's checked in and requested that crib before you, doesn't matter that you requested on the phone, is what I'm gathering. It matters that you request at check-in. So
that is great advice, because I think the other thing is Disney has made it so super easy to do the mobile check-in, go straight to your room. That has a little bit of hit or miss to it, especially depending on the size of the resort, some of those kinds of things. Yeah. I am still very much in the mode of, I advise people, when you check into your resort, just go check into your resort. Do it like you do every other hotel. Yeah. Save yourself the effort. Get your emergency park pass cards. Ask for those when you're checking in. Make your crib requests now, apparently. Yeah. All of those things. Get your luggage tags. Yeah. Do all the things that you should be getting as part of normal check-in. And then when you get to your room, you can get through the door. Because all of those things. Yeah. Even though mobile check-in is available and it sounds great in theory, I regularly don't advise it.
The other thing is, for Canada residents who are still writing out the Canada resident ticket offers, you do need to have those tickets validated.
Yes.
Whether that be at the park with your passport. What I have found to be successful in my personal experience is also showing my passport at check-in. Regularly, my tickets have gone from yellow to blue. I'm not saying yours will do that. Technically speaking, you need to bring your passport to the park. But would I hazard a try if I were you by checking in with my passport at the desk? I sure would. Yeah.
Yeah, no, great point. Okay, so now we've done the parks. We've celebrated Abby's birthday. Mom's birthday is on the horizon. Mm-hmm. Everything is now we're going from being Disney magic, parks magic, those kinds of things, and a little bit tired and worn out to now it's time for some luxury.
Yeah, we're ready to get on this boat.
To transition from Orlando to Port Canaveral, how did that work? And then just run us through your embarkation day, and we're going to kind of end it, like today's episode will end with kind of going to bed on embarkation day, and then we'll jump into the rest of the cruise next time. But what did that look like for you and your family now that is we've got grandparents, we've got baby Quinny, we've got Abby,
Yeah.
we've got Lucas and Jenna. I mean, this is kind of military level mobilization from Orlando
Yeah.
to Port Canaveral.
Well, and we have all those people with a double stroller and with luggage for 9 nights, right?
Yep.
So like there's just a lot of stuffs. So we did do private transfers with Gear Fusion Orlando to Port Canaveral, which is my favorite splurge on vacation. We could have done the Disney transfers. A lot of the kind of popular advice online is do Disney transportation because it creates this ease of experience, which it does. I'm not taking that away. I just think it's for the right family. For my family, I would much rather have Quinn in a car seat, hopefully napping on the way to port, than holding her on a bus, navigating potentially a couple pickups, having to arrive so much earlier than our stateroom is ready. All of those types of features. I talk about this a bit more in our Embarkation Day episode, so feel free to go back and listen to that. But we prefer something like a 12 o'clock port arrival time. We get there, our bags are checked, we carry on, we have lunch. By the time we're done lunch, our rooms are ready. We're able to drop off our carry-on things, reset, change the baby's diaper, do the XYZ thing. So we're like ready to embrace the day, right? And man, I gotta say, and I will get more into fantasy next episode, but I gotta say, I had a bit of skepticism going into this ship. Like, I love Disney Cruise Line.
Really?
But I had a wee bit of skepticism of like, am I gonna find it dated? I had this thought of like, because I've sailed on Wish class ships, am I gonna find it kind of like worn down? Am I gonna find
we know that it just recently went through dry dock, right? Post our cruise, I don't know, slightly over a year ago, it jumped the pond, went over, went into dry dock, did refurb, all of those kinds of things, did some European sailings, and then came home. So interesting with that, because she is a bit of an older ship. Now, I would argue right now that she probably still is in the top 2 ships that are spoken highly of in Disney cruise circles.
Oh, exactly. And that is the case too, that oftentimes the 2 ships, maybe 3 that get the best reviews are Treasure, Fantasy, and Destiny's kind of getting some honorable mentions these days, right? And so, I knew people love this ship. I know my clients have loved this ship. I know some of my bougie clients have loved this ship, right? And I still just had this thought from some of the photos just compared to Wish class ships. Am I going to like it as much, right? I just don't know, because I know what I know. I love this ship. I totally get it. When people are like, this is one of their favorite ships, I'm like, I totally get it. From the moment we walked in, nothing about it said dated. It felt like, I don't know, like classic maritime luxury vibes that it hit.
It totally hits that level of like, you walk on and you feel like, I don't know, you're walking into a scene from Disney's version of Titanic, right? Like, you get this big boat, luxury nautical kind of feel that just is timeless.
Oh, and I love the piano in the atrium. Like, that's a really nice touch. I love even the size of the atrium is really different than the Grand Hall on Wish class ships. And it just felt like there were less people on this boat somehow, even though they both hold 4,000 passengers, right? Like, so it was interesting to just have this comparison. But Embarkation Day, exactly our usual play, right? We went for lunch. We got that sit-down lunch. One thing
you didn't sit down. You didn't go buffet.
No, we did not go buffet. Too many tiny humans, not enough people who can hold their own plates. When they can hold their own plates, maybe we'll go there. And we had miraculously no reservations that needed change, no guest services visits that needed done. We were just headed for lunch.
So the thing is with that, Jenna, let's remind our listeners, because that is key information that you get only after you plug into Wi-Fi on the
Yes.
ship. So
Yes.
kind of explain that a little bit.
So when we get into Wi-Fi on the ship, there might be something that first of all, you get access to your full navigator, right? You get access to your dining rotation, you get access to where your muster station is if you haven't looked it up already. You get access to all the cruise activities, all these fun things. Occasionally that creates a bit of a moment of, oh, I was hoping for a different dining rotation. Or,
Yep.
oh, maybe I didn't get into Royal Gathering and I still need to add myself to the wait list. Whatever it is, those types of moments. Maybe I didn't get Paolo and I really wanted Paolo. And I would go to guest services or dining reservations, whatever it is at that point, to add myself accordingly. This cruise in particular, we got the reservations we wanted. We didn't care about our dining rotation because Paolo was on Pirate Night.
Oh, you lucked into that.
Well, did I? Because when you set your reservations, take a peek at what Bippity Boppity Boutique is doing, my friends. If it says Pirates League, we have a good chance that it's Pirate Night, right?
Yep. We did the same thing for upcoming Destiny. You take a look at that, and that's exactly where we put Paolo, was on that night.
Nice. That's perfect. Because you're repeating a restaurant and you're not missing the main dining experience in a 4-night sailing, right? So that was how we did that. So we headed to lunch, and then it was a very kind of choose your own adventure a little bit. Grandparents were tired from Embarkation Day. Like it is a travel day, right? Like let yourself acknowledge that. They didn't want to do the sail away party chaos. We wanted front stage sail away party chaos. Right.
That is so good.
So we just booked it upstairs after our muster drill. And we were, I think, second row. And it was amazing. It was so fun. They have started doing the same sail away show as on Wish class ships.
Oh, that'll be fun.
So the what was it called before? Sailing away party is no more. Set sail on a Wish or whatever it is, that the set sail party, that is the one that's moved actually to the Fantasy and Dream already, and I think it's coming to the Magic and Wonder. They're kind of like bringing it across the fleet. It's a great way to open.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that. We have seen that one before because of sailing on Wish class ships. But to see that move over was a bit of a surprise to me, honestly. I think it's like in the last couple sailings that they've started doing that. So that was cool. We saw some princesses. We saw some princesses that you don't see on other ships as much. Like we saw Mulan in the sail away party, that type of thing. So that was amazing. And then we had, our classic kind of cruise rotation that we went through. We got settled in our room. We did dinner and a show.
But let's talk about that because that's not simple stuff, right?
Yeah.
So did you go do pool post stateroom? Like now we can have wet kids, we can do all that kind of stuff. So splash pad was on order.
So I have a no water on Embarkation Day policy because it's too chaotic at this age. When they're 7 and 8 and can hop in the shower and before dinner, sure. It's just a whole event with tiny tinies. And there's already been 7 whole events today.
Yeah.
And I have 2 whole events coming up with dinner and a show. I cannot exhaust these children with water or they will explode.
Okay. Did you also then, if you didn't do water, did you work in visiting the Oceaneers Club, kind of baselining that, which we typically suggest on Embarkation Day of get your kid down there, introduce them to the people, introduce them to the space, because when you want to use it, they're going to potentially be much more accepting of going to this place.
Exactly. That's exactly what we did. We went to see nursery open house. We went to see kids club open house. I will note for people that registration for kids club and nursery closes not at 3:30 when the muster drill starts, but at 3 because they want people to start heading places. So they close all cruise services around 3.
Yeah.
They want you to be bored enough to go to your muster drill, right? So just make sure if you're like, oh, we'll stop in at the kids club and register them before muster drill, that you arrive early enough to do that, because we were definitely like cutting it on the edge there. We did get them registered. As Abby would say, we registered Quinn for baby club and her for kids club, which makes sense. And she was ready to go to Oceaneers Club. I do think the sense of scarcity of their closing for muster drill would actually served us well of, oh, we get to come back here later.
Because she's done it on other ships, right? So she's Disney attuned to the kids club. This just gives her more specifics about what the experiences might be.
Well, she's only done nursery, right?
Oh.
Her last sailing was right before she turned 3. So she's never done Oceaneer Club. She's done nursery. So this is actually her first time getting to experience that.
So we're a big kid now.
We're a big kid. We're going to kids club, not baby club, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think also getting to bring her sister to baby club allowed like the grown up vibe of I'm going to kids club, which was great. She met a friend dancing in the lobby the first night before dinner who was also going to kids club. So these types of things really help. Her friend's name was Abby. Shout out to Abby. But it was like this nice, like, yeah, little, I know you're going to be there. Great. This will be fun. And sure enough, during dinner, once she finished her dinner, once we did the crush fun shenanigans of the show, because we were at Animator's Palette, she was like, all right, well, I want to go to kids club now. We were like, sounds great. So she went for half an hour or whatever while we finished dessert and got ready to go to the show. So
that's awesome. So Animator's Palette, first night, super solid. You get the interactivity of that particular venue. Kind of the pseudo turtle talk with crush experience. So good. But then, so you had early dining, sounds like.
And we did have early dining, which is not actually my preferred play if it's just us. But with grandparents, that just had to be the way it goes because they eat at a certain time, But our family, we generally prefer actually late dining so we don't feel as rushed. And so the kids can make it through a show. We can feed them some quick service. And then they can either fall asleep during dinner or they can go play at Kids Club or whatever for the dinners that aren't as interactive. But this worked out great. And honestly, again, you never take the same kid to Disney. You never take the same kid on a cruise. Because Abby was way more engaged at dinners this time than last cruise. Like she was chatting. She was very into our server and chatting with our server. Like they were best buds. So it was interesting too. The things that you're nervous about from your last cruise, maybe of, oh, how's she going to do at dinners, might not be relevant. So that's interesting.
Great point.
Yeah.
So what show did you get to see?
So we saw Aladdin. Abs did fall asleep. And we've seen Aladdin on the Wish a couple times. And like the magic carpet scene still is just it. I feel like tingles. Like I feel goosebumps. It is magical. I am blown away. Genie's hilarious. So it's like such a good show.
It's so good. I love that they open that. It's not the kind of headliner on this ship, but it is just nothing short of amazing.
And this is a hot take, but I like when ships don't open with their headliner or their mashup show because Embarkation Day is tiring. Abby fell asleep during the show because we didn't get time for a nap. We didn't get time to like chill and prepare for the show accordingly, right? So I actually like when we don't have like it's hard on sailings where the best show is the first night because that's the night you're least prepared for.
Yeah.
So So I like that.
You close out the evening, you've done the show, you're doing all those kinds of things. You're probably approaching 9:30, 10 o'clock, right?
Yeah.
Long day. So obviously kids back to stateroom, crashed out, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
Did you and Lucas like get a chance to like sneak away for just a Jenna and Lucas moment at all? Or
you know what we were able to do? So we brought our baby monitor, which I was curious, and it's a non-Wi-Fi monitor, which is an important piece of this scenario because we don't buy the Wi-Fi package. But we were able to set it up and sit on our veranda. Like it went through the walls. It did the things I was concerned. Like even though we're right outside the door on the veranda, I just wanted to be able to like have eyes inside the room. Right.
Sure.
And so it was nice to be able to have that. I wouldn't ever like sometimes people ask about using their monitor and leaving the room completely. Don't do that. Like you are on a boat, like your children still need you, my friends.
Yes.
But sitting on the veranda felt okay to us. So we had the monitor out there and we sat and soaked in the fact that we were both together at the same time, which has not happened lately with our work schedules.
Yeah.
And we have a minute to just unwind together, which was incredible. And is one reason Lucas really does prefer deluxe resorts is the addition of a balcony allows like those shared parent moments outside of the room, right? So that was just a really lovely way to end our first night and talk about what we wanted to do together, go through the schedule and heart some of the things on the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app that we wanted to make sure that we did in the coming days, right?
That's great. And I know we're going to talk about the other days that you have and kind of again, you gave us a little glimpse into this piece of the fantasies delivering, right? Day one,
Yeah.
kind of there, but you've got multiple days and multiple nights still to go.
Yeah.
And why does it? Hopefully, it continues to do that. But as we do with all episodes, especially trip report episodes, we're going to do a rapid fire. I've
Love
got
it.
6 questions. I'm going to do these same questions next episode also, so that we kind of compare land and sea, right?
I like it.
Of what is it bringing? So, as we think about much more the land portion
Yes.
of your trip, what was the best bite?
Best bite was, I'm gonna go fried chicken at 50's prime time. Amazing.
That.
So good. Like the food delivered on a surprising level at that restaurant.
Well, and you said it had some high quality adult beverage too.
Oh, yeah. They say rating Dad's liquor cabinet, and that feels accurate.
That's great. This is one that I don't know that I'm going to do it in June because I'm kind of forcing myself into a space of quick service predominantly for my June trip, just because there's a lot of quick service I haven't done.
Right. Okay.
And so I kind of need to force the issue so that I can have some better perspective on some of those options.
Yeah.
But definitely July 50's prime time is a high priority, if not the priority, for what you just described.
It's honestly like the milkshakes as well for non-adult beverages. Unbelievable. Best milkshake I've ever had. So amazing food, amazing kind of atmosphere, vibe, was really popular with everyone in our party.
That's great. Okay, so this question is best adult moment, not connected to kids. So this can't even be tertiary Abby moment. This is
like that.
Best adult moment for you and Lucas or whoever.
Yeah, probably Flight of Passage. Like it's fun to it feels like sneaking away. Obviously it's not sneaking away because you're assigning someone your children. Like it was done very intentionally. We bought these things at a specific moment, but it feels like that sometimes of let's go play, right?
Yeah.
Let's go on this ride that is just for us. Was really fun.
That is fantastic. Again, first experience for Lucas. You've done it before. We did it.
Yeah.
Such a good experience. And one that just definitely takes your breath away.
Oh, totally. We did it twice in the same day, and it took my breath away different ways both times. Right? So it's always a good one. Did you know?
That is so good.
Okay, I have to throw this in here. Did you know there are handprints at the exit of that ride?
No.
And they belong to some Imagineers.
Oh, is it Joe Rohde? I mean, because he's the one who built the land, so I'm guessing it would make sense that it's Joe.
So there's 3 handprints, and I know who 2 of them belong to.
Okay.
So perhaps it's your mission to figure out the third next time you're there or something.
I'm going to have to pay attention because I have not caught that.
Yeah, but anyway, if you know, leave it in the comments, friends. Otherwise, I'll tell.
Hey, that's cool.
But yeah, so that was fun.
All right, so now flipping the script. Best kid moment.
Oh, for sure. Abby like peeking out the window at Cinderella's royal table and just like really realizing I'm in the castle. Or going up the royal stairs and her like holding her dress and just like living princess vibes. But never will forget it, you know? Or Tiana's Bayou Adventure and seeing her be brave.
I wondered which one of those was going to make the cut.
And like the way we were all dancing on that ride and just like loving being together was pretty special.
That's fantastic. Okay, biggest surprise from the land side of your trip?
The crowds. I misestimated like a little bit on what I was expecting this week to look like versus how busy it was. It was totally fine. We navigated it, but the crowds were a surprise.
So this one may double over, but I'm going to say best new experience.
Best new experience. Probably, yeah, doing new rides with abs, like Soarin', Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Maybe not Rides of the Resistance, but and just some of those new experiences and seeing that through her eyes.
That's awesome. Again, because that was not the day you were expecting. You were
No.
expecting a day that was filled with characters. Abby
Totally.
being her, kind of very over the top social self that
Yeah.
she just brings to those moments. All right. So we've done the Walt Disney parks, those kinds of things.
Yeah.
As you think future forward,
Yeah.
next trip,
Yeah.
what's still on the list? What is it like we
For
have
parks?
to, yeah, for the park side? Like, what is still that thing that you go, haven't done it yet, but we're going to get there?
Abby has not done Magic Kingdom fireworks properly.
Ah,
Like she's only done like seen it from Tomorrowland or seen it from a resort or something like that. But not like I'm in front of the castle, I'm seeing the projections, I'm here for fireworks. And we had intentions to do it this time, but she passed out after Starlight and was like, girl was done. Birthday was over. Things were tapped out. So sometime we will let her sleep in the afternoon until like 7 p.m. or something, and then head to Magic Kingdom specifically for fireworks. But she has not done Magic Kingdom fireworks, and I would like to see her do that.
yeah, it's almost like you need a 50% resort day.
Yeah.
Maybe you go hit a little rope drop, major resort day, and then you're targeting that one event.
Yeah, and it's possible to do because we've done Phantasmic, which is at the same time. Typically, sometimes fireworks are a bit later. But she was just so excited on her birthday, she couldn't rest. Like, we went back to the room and we got in jammies to chill out for a bit. And she was just so excited and begging to go back to the park. And I was like, listen, we don't have to just suffer here for an hour while you don't want to rest. Like, let's just go. And if she falls asleep, she falls asleep. And so we went back early. So that was our, we tried and it didn't happen. So probably the birthday.
But I'm still in that space that's not a bad thing because there is a wish out there that still has to be granted.
Yes.
And something to look forward to and a reason to say, yep, we got to go back.
Totally. And she made it through the night parade, which was one of her main goals. She wanted to see that more than fireworks because she said, there's fireworks on the boat. There's no parade on the boat. So, correct.
Yeah, but those things aren't comparable.
They're
right?
not fireworks on the boat
know.
Versus Magic Kingdom fireworks. Yeah, different things. But when you're 4, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up for this week. Jenna, thank you so much for sharing some of the insights, some of the pro tips, different things that you learned on this particular trip. Thanks for sharing some of the things, being vulnerable enough to the things that didn't go the way that you had hoped or planned. I mean, and so thank you to our listeners for staying with us this week. Remember, we're out there in the podcast universe. So if you want to support this show, like, subscribe, give us a review, 5-star reviews. We promise we will read on air. We really want to make sure to bring our listenership into this podcast. Jenna, remind folks we are on the socials.
Yes, at Enchanted Parks and Ports. We are super excited for you to follow along on Instagram. Our Instagram's been a wee bit quiet lately because that's in my domain and I've been a wee bit busy lately, but she's going to come back to life, I promise, friends. So give us a follow there.
So for another week, Jenna, let's remind our listeners.
Adventure is out there. Bye, friends.
See you guys. Have a great week.